The opinions expressed are those of the show's host and not the staff or management of Port St. Lucie broadcasters. Any reproduction without written consent of WSTU and WPSL is strictly prohibited. Now it's time for Quality of Life Radio, brought to you by Cigna and Aetna Medicare. Here are your hosts, Gary Owen and Tom Bouvier.
Hello and good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this extraordinary Tuesday morning, February 21st. My God, where in the heck has the time gone? It's flying by. Thank you for tuning in to the world-famous Quality of Life radio show. I'm your host, Gary Owen. I'm the president of Owen Insurance Group, and my co-host, Tom the Bouvier, is in Dallas, Texas, representing Owen Insurance Group at one of our carrier meetings. So thank you for tuning in on WSTU and WPSL and on Facebook Live. And for those of you around the world that are tuning in on Alexa, thank you so much. So there are 3 segments to our show each and every day. And by the way, before I get excited, I've got to drop a bombshell on all of you. I have a special announcement to make, but I'm going to do it in a little bit. So, Evan, you got to remind me about my special announcement. Second half hour. All right, so you stay tuned for the and by the way, the whole hour of our show is chock full of fun, information, and excitement, so you definitely want to stay tuned. So the first part of our show, we're here to bring relevant content to our listeners and support and showcase our local businesses, nonprofits, and community leaders. So we've got a great guest this morning, so I'll be introducing him here shortly. The second part of our show, we're going to share with you a fun health fact that you should know, and then also tie in top 10 fun facts that you should know about estate planning. Like, don't wrinkle your nose at me. Don't wrinkle your nose. Don't say, I don't want to hear about it, because today you are, because there is really important information. Like, did you know that 68% of Americans die intestate? I mean, that's an astronomical number. 68% die without a will. So stay tuned for 10 more of those fun facts that we're going to share with you in the second part of our show. And then the third part of our show, we're going to just share some relevant information and content with you about insurance planning, insurance straight talk, information that you need to know so you can have a stress-free life and live stress-free with Medicare insurance planning, life insurance planning, and so forth. So anyway, we're glad to have Wesley Harvin II with us in studio this morning with the Estate Trust and Elder Law Firm. Wes, good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. So I was asking Wes this morning, where are you from? And I was shocked to hear.
I'm from Stuart.
Right here.
Right here. Grew up here. Yeah.
I mean, you have seen a major transformation in the
big
time that you were here.
Big time. Yep. I grew up in Palm City and Stuart, and I've been here my whole life.
Fantastic. And then, so talk to us about what got you into law and why elder law and estate planning.
Sure. Yeah. Well, my dad, Wes Sr., has been an attorney here in Stuart since, I always say, since Elvis died. So for a long time, and he was doing estates and trusts and litigation. And I went to law school. In undergrad at University of Florida, where I majored in ancient Greek poetry.
So you're going to share some poetry with us?
Well, maybe.
All right, perfect.
Get a little lyrical. And did that, went to law school. I did an advanced year at University of Miami in estates and trusts and taxes and all that good stuff. Came back here to practice with my dad, and I've really enjoyed it.
Fantastic. Actually, we have 10 field managers that represent Owen Insurance Group across the state. One of my field managers is also JD, Mike Barbone. He usually tunes in on Tuesday morning. So, Michael, good morning. You're in good company. All right, so you purchased the law firm just recently, right?
I did. My dad and I practiced together for many, many years. And then when he was promoted to glory, as the Shriners say, I was contacted by the owner of the Estate Trust and Elder Law Firm for us to come together, and we did. It's been fantastic. We have major offices in Fort Pierce and in Stuart, and satellite offices in Okeechobee, Port St. Lucie, and it's going very, very well.
So your father, did he belong to the local Lodge 163 here in Stuart, do you know?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But he was a Shriner.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes, he was.
So I am a Mason, but not a Shriner yet. Working maybe, as soon as my workload gets a little diminished, I may try to jump into that.
You're right.
But I'm in 3 of the other appendant bodies of Masonry, so I mean, it's just it's like a full-time job in itself, quite frankly.
Oh, wow.
So there are so many people that just don't understand Medicare, like what I do, and life
Sure.
insurance, and just as much, if not more, that don't understand how important it is to work with an attorney, with estate planning, trust. I mean, it's amazing that there's so many people that don't have a will.
Yeah,
crazy.
It really is. I see it almost every day. And, as laws change and get more complex, as Medicare, Medicaid changes and gets more complex, estate planning gets more complex. More than half of what we do in a quote-unquote estate plan has nothing to do with your estate after you die. It's to help you during your life. The best estate plan is one where most of it helps you during your life, with whatever that means to you, making sure that if something happens to you, your assets can be used for you, for example, or making sure that your assets are titled in such a way that if you need it, you can get state assistance with Medicaid, long-term care. Here's a fun fact. I'm gonna jump ahead to the fun facts.
I love
How about
fun
that?
facts.
All right.
Anytime.
All right, fun fact. Fun fact number 1. The average cost of long-term care in a facility in Florida is over $10,000 a month.
Over $100K a year. That's right.
Oh, yeah, easy. And down in Miami, it can be up in 13, 14.
Absolutely.
Our friends in New York have to face $16,000, $17,000 a month in average care. So if we're looking at our friends and loved ones who are getting a little bit older and they need a little bit more care, well, how many people can really shell out $10,000 a month for the next 5 years?
Very, very few.
A few of us, very, very few of us. So looking into options early, sooner rather than later, is not only good for the client, but for the family.
That's right.
Because if the client starts to need help, the first people they turn to are family members. And we see real heroes. We see family members give up their entire lives to take care of loved ones. But I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. When things start to develop to a certain level of care requirements, how many of us can really sit there 24/7 without needing the services that are out there?
That's
and
right.
They're out there. They are out there.
Case in point, my parents are getting up there. My dad had a major heart attack, so had brain damage. So my mom is his caregiver for the last 6 years now. 5-6 years since the incident.
Sure.
And it has taken a horrific toll on my mother, taking care of my dad 24 hours a day. It's tough. I mean, and I see it affecting her health. And obviously, she's got some issues with memory, right? And so now that begs the question, who's going to take care of my parents? Who's going to take care of my mom, who's been trying to take care of my father?
Oh, right.
And this is just not my household, but Wes, it's across the country.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pandemic, and I think the problem, and you can shed some light on this for our audience, but I think in my profession and talking with clients about planning, not just Medicare, and what have you done for your estate planning needs? And again, the majority of people haven't even thought about it. Either A, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about their mortality. And second, they think that it's just too expensive. They're not going to be able to afford it. And third, they don't really realize when they're gone the tragedy and the travesty that they leave behind, not just because of their death and the family's going to miss them, but the nightmare that they leave behind with their estate and not having a will and dying intestate.
Oh, yeah, that's very, very true. And you said some good points there I definitely want to pick up on. The story of your parents is a story that I hear all the time. Your parents are lucky because they have you. Yeah. A lot of our friends and family down here have their children up north somewhere. Maryland, Connecticut, wherever it may be. That makes it a lot more difficult for the child to come down and offer care.
Sure does.
I just met with a guy yesterday who's flying back and forth from Connecticut every weekend to take care of his mother. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough to sustain over time.
Sure it is.
You know, and also just like your parents, a lot of times when our family members get older, they kind of lean on each other. And then they can help and care for each other, but then who watches the watchmen? Who gives care to the caregivers?
That's correct.
You know, and this is a good thing to talk to an estate planning attorney about is respite care. You know, that there are sources out there for caregivers to get the care that they need. I always tell my clients, think of yourself as a tent pole in the circus. What happens when the tent pole breaks?
Right.
The circus is over. You know, so if you're a tent pole, you got to make sure you're nice and strong and care for yourself at the same time as you care for everybody else.
Good point.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's why they always say if you're in an airplane, right, put your own gas mask on first or whatever it is,
That's
right? Because you
right.
can't help anybody else if you're the one choking. So it's very, very important that people make sure they take care of their family by taking care of themselves.
I'd like to. I know you have hundreds, if not thousands, of stories of people that are dying without a will. Can you explain the importance of having just a basic last will and testament? We'll get into the living will and all this other stuff later, but just a simple last will and testament.
Sure. Well, you know, I'll tell you what happens if you don't have one. If you don't have one, then the state of Florida pretends that you have one, and the state of Florida has statutes for that then say what happens to your stuff, what happens to your bank accounts, what happens to your assets, what happens to your home. In some cases, if you haven't done things like a will or special deed that sets forth what you want. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I have had clients come in and say, what happens if I don't have a will and die? And we go through it. I tell, well, this would go here, this would go here. And they say, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to pay for a will. Goodbye. You know what? If you're happy with that, then I'm happy with that. But 99 times out of 100, someone's going to say to me, you mean my daughter that hasn't spoken to me in 30 years is going to get half? Mm-hmm. You mean my second wife is going to get everything? And what are the kids from my first marriage going to think about that? Well, they're going to call a lawyer and see if they can sue. So you talk about trouble. I always try to talk myself out of a job, always, every chance I get, and try to say, look, let's solve things without lawyers. But earlier is better. Planning is better than not. And if we got a lot of blended families out there,
that's right.
You know, his, ours, yours, hers, you know, all sorts of stuff. The best thing to do is to make everybody certain with what you want by saying it in black and white in a will or maybe a trust.
And finally, after years of persuasion with my parents, finally got them to do a will.
Sure.
Living will, healthcare surrogate, and all that good stuff. And then finally for myself as well, because I see the tragedy that's left behind with families that don't have it, and the infighting that happens, that occurs after a death, and they, you know, the siblings fight over, you know, heirlooms, family heirlooms. Well, you know, I deserve it, not you. And it's just, trust me when I tell you, folks, you need to get it taken care of.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean when I say I try every time to talk myself out of a job. I say, do a little will now. Just do something now, because if you don't, the amount that the lawyers are going to get when that day comes is going to be 10, 20, 30, 100 or more times the amount of the cost of just setting things out clearly while you're still with us.
100%.
Every time. Yeah.
No, it makes sense. Planning is important. We're going to, right now, take a quick break, our first break of the show, and we'll come back. We'll pick up where we left off with Wes Harvin II, our estate planning attorney, and you are listening to the world-famous Quality of Life radio show on WSTU 1450 AM and WPSL 1590 AM. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Gary Owen of the Owen Insurance Group. We are a local independent insurance agency located right here on the Treasure Coast. I've been a resident here for 34 years and have helped thousands of clients with their insurance planning needs. We specialize in life, health, and Medicare insurance planning. Don't travel the road alone. Let us be your guide. We are the Owen Insurance Group. Contact us today at 772-210-1020 or visit our website at oweninsurancegroup.net.
Age comes with wisdom, and wisdom comes with benefits. That's especially true when it comes to Medicare. So make the wise call and go to CignaWise.com to compare your Medicare Advantage plan to Cigna today. Cigna offers dental coverage and $0 primary doctor visits in most areas. Hearing, vision, and an over-the-counter allowance all in one plan. You can even earn rewards for doing healthy activities. So go to CignaWise.com and compare your Medicare Advantage plans to Cigna today. Again, that website is CignaWise.com. Cigna Medicare Advantage. Because wisdom comes with benefits. Benefit options vary by plan and service area. You must reside in the plan service area. Cigna is contracted with Medicare for PDP plans, HMO, and PPO plans in select states, and with select state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in Cigna depends on contract renewal.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jensen Beach, Hope Sound, Martin County's Heritage Station.
Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to the world-famous Quality of Life radio show. Gary Owen here, your host, and Tom Bouvier is out today. He's out in Texas. And today we are fortunate to have Wesley Harvin with us in the studio. He owns the Estate Trust and Elder Law Firm. And I know you've got multiple locations. So where are you located?
We do. Our main offices are in Fort Pierce and in Stewart. Satellite offices in Port St. Lucie and Okeechobee.
And I know you do, I've seen your advertising. You do a lot of workshops. Talk to us about the workshops.
We do, and I really, really enjoy them. I like getting out there, and every other Thursday at least, and we always put this on our Facebook page. We give these talks on the basics of estate planning, wills and trusts, what they do, what they don't do, and Medicaid. And Medicaid planning and how to put your family in a posture to where, if necessary, you can get assistance with your long-term care needs.
And so yesterday we did a training with our agents about dual SNP, Medicare and Medicaid plans for Medicare Advantage and so forth.
Right.
And there are roughly 30 million Americans on Medicare Advantage plans today. The other half are on Medicare supplement plans or original Medicare with a supplement. So what we're finding is roughly half of Americans who are on a Medicare Advantage plan are on a dual SNP plan or qualify for Medicaid. That is where we are at today.
Oh yeah. It's going to be a larger and larger factor. And Medicare is, and as you certainly know, is a federal program. Medicaid is a joint federal and state program. So we really have 51 different Medicaid programs if you count the District of Columbia. Mm-hmm. Every state has its own little nuances to it. People come to you sometimes and they say, well, that's not how it worked for my dad in New Hampshire or New York. And I say, well, probably not. But this is how we work here. These are the choices Florida has made to help provide for its seniors. Right now, the Medicaid plan is bigger than it's ever been, because there were special regulations that came down from on high, stopping people from getting reviewed and kicked off during the COVID era. Mm-hmm. And that's coming to a close. So even things that people knew or thought they knew about Medicaid in Florida maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago are changing now, and they are going to continue to change. But what's not going to change is our older family members moving down here, and then one day needing the care that they deserve. Medicaid in its core is a return of the tax dollars that our friends and family have always paid, and now have a right to get back.
and there's a rub here about Medicaid. So, we deal with a lot of those clients that, don't have a lot of assets and income. And so they're on the fringe, Wes, about qualifying for Medicaid, but they make a couple $100 more than the threshold to qualify for QI or SLMB or QMB or what have you. But maybe they could qualify for LIS. And sometimes there are clients that just make just a few dollars too much money to qualify for LIS. So there are plans out, LIS being low-income subsidies. So what we're saying here today is there are opportunities and there are plans that can help you if you don't have enough money, don't make enough money. Medicaid may be a way to go, and there are certain plans that you can have with Medicaid if you're over 65 or you're on disability. It's called a special needs plan, or a dual special needs plan, where you work with Medicare and Medicaid with your health insurance plan.
That is exactly right. That's exactly right. There are so many more tools out there than people are aware of,
Yep.
which is really my favorite reason for giving these talks that we give at least once a month, if not every other Thursday at different locations, as set forth on our Facebook page. The reason why I love to do this is because when I start to tell people the tools that are out there for not only getting care in a facility, but also for getting care in home, sometimes the mouths drop. And I keep things very informal. I say, hey, you have any questions, raise your hand. You want to come talk to me afterwards? Come talk to me. I'm here for you. I want to tell you these things. Mm-hmm. Every single talk, I have a line of people, 4, 5, 6 deep,
Sure, saying,
are you telling me my mom can get help? Are you telling me I don't have to do this alone? And I'm saying, yeah, I am, and I'm glad you came.
So, Wes, there are a lot of veterans who tune into our show. And for those of you veterans out there that are tuning in this morning, from the bottom of my heart and on our hearts here this morning, we thank you for your service and your sacrifice. So there are a lot of veterans that tune in. There are a lot of programs out there for veterans that people don't even know about, Wes.
That's true. That's true. I would say probably every other or every third person that I see either was a veteran themselves or his or her spouse is now a veteran. And facilities are getting better and better for veterans. There's the new Artie-Copus facility opening up in the Tradition area. Very, very nice facility to provide care for veterans. There are other programs for veterans as well, and they can kind of mimic and follow parallel with the requirements to get Medicaid. Some of these veterans programs are very similar to getting Medicaid assistance. Some are not. But you know what? It's just like Medicaid. It's a little difficult to follow if you don't do this all the time. So It's definitely worth talking to somebody, whether you think you might be eligible or not.
Yep, very much. I like it. So, talk about what the average person can expect to pay to get a basic last will and testament. Because I think people come to my office and I ask them, well, why haven't you done it? Well, I don't have thousands of dollars to do a will. Kind of speak to that for a moment.
Sure. Well, I tell you what I don't like to see is when someone got a will from from Staples or some place online.
Don't do it.
Right. Unless you want your family to have a problem and to fight over it later. So let me answer by saying this. I also have people come in and say, look, I did a will, back home in New Hampshire or New Jersey a couple years ago. Do I need to redo it? Is it worth redoing it? What's the cost to do a will? If you're looking at a total estate planning package, what I consider to be the big 4 documents, a will, a trust, a health care surrogate, and a power of attorney, and that's really a good coverage for what I call lifetime documents and afterlife documents. You're probably looking at around, depending on the attorney, anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. It's more down south, it's less up here.
Yep.
And that covers all 4. That's a good range in order to have as a rule of thumb.
Because there's not a one size fits all. Each client is different and unique.
That's right. almost every week, I have someone come in and give me a question that I've never heard before, and we look it up and give the best answer that we can, because you might think that there's nothing special about your family, and then we come in and start talking and we say, well, maybe I have a grandchild with special needs, maybe I have a child that would not be able to do what I call interact with their inheritance in the best way. Maybe they take all the money and blow it on bubble gum. Maybe we have a blended situation where the husband wants his second wife taken care of, no problem. But then if she should pass, the money is supposed to go to the kids from the first marriage, or maybe not. Maybe to the kids from a different relationship. So that's my goal, though.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, your estate planning attorney should be able to take your needs, put them in black and white, so it's set and there's no fuss.
Going back on workshops, if somebody wants to attend your workshops, Wes, where can they go to find them, and how often do you have them?
We have the workshops are at least once a month, if not every other Thursday. When we have them in Port St. Lucie, when we have them in Fort Pierce, we have them there at the Civic Center. When we have them in Port St. Lucie, we have them like we do this coming Thursday at the IRSC campus, and we do them in Vero also. We do them at the Chamber of Commerce, and when we do them in Stuart, we do them at the Nexus building. All nice big rooms, plenty of seating. I have slides, we have handouts, and we make sure that everybody can get to their questions, because that's why we do it. That's what I want to hear.
Where can they go to sign up?
You can give us a call at 772-828-2588, or you can go to our Facebook page, or you can go to our website. It is a good idea to give us a call and make a reservation ahead of time, especially during season. We get pretty full.
Yep.
But we've always got space for one more, and it's best to try to come to one of them.
So I know that you were raised here in Martin County, and some of the things that you enjoy, you're passionate about, is canoeing. Where do you canoe?
I started that with my dad. I grew up as a fly fisherman. He was a big fly fisherman, bass and bluegill club, competitive, all this sort of stuff. And so we would canoe all around, Indiantown, Lake Okeechobee, Lake Istapoga, Kissimmee River Valley. We would fly fish, and just spend a minute and watch the otters and the birds and the sunrise, and
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I really, really enjoyed it.
That's beautiful. I like what you said on your website. The fact that, we talked about this on our break, and I'm right with you in this as well, where you say that beyond just assembling documents, a lawyer needs to back up their client when challenged. I pride myself on being an advocate for my clients and doing everything in my power to protect them against the challenges the future may hold. Because we don't know what the future holds. And you don't know what you don't know.
That's right. We really don't. And that's a service that I'm proud to offer here at the firm, is that if for whatever reason things do have to go to court, we are practitioners at both the state and federal level, and have litigated often, and I've litigated my whole career now when it comes to disputes over wills, trusts, guardianships, powers of attorney, when they're used right, when they weren't used right. Mm-hmm. We had a case several years ago where the family was surprised to discover that mom had left $800,000 to the pool boy. And that's what we call senior exploitation. Had to go to court on that. There were death threats involved. At the end of the day, though, we got back pretty much everything.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm sorry to say that part of my practice is growing. Almost every day now I get a call from somebody saying, I thought mom had all this money. Turns out that she did, but it's gone. My brother took it. The lawn guy took it. Somebody came.
My caregiver took it.
Caregiver took it. Somebody did something they shouldn't have done.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I am happy to say that Florida has some of the best protections against senior exploitation of any state in the union.
And it's on the rise too, Wes. I mean, senior
It is.
exploitation it's just ridiculous what's going on out here.
It is. It is. I used to work with the FBI and give presentations on scams that were going through the area, and some of these are just just terrible.
It's horrible.
And can have serious consequences. People losing their life savings.
Yep.
All because they clicked on the wrong thing on an email or
That's
got
correct.
something in the mail. They didn't, So it's a bad scene, but we have a lot more tools than people might think because of the actions taken by our legislature to give us those weapons.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be advocates for our clients. We've got to be transparent, honest, reputable, credible, and that's why people do business with us, because we will give them that straight talk that they need and protect them and be there for them when they need us the most. So I think this is a good opportunity to transition to the 10 fun facts, because you mentioned a lot of the stuff already that we were going to talk about on the 10 fun facts that you should know. So let's get right into that real quick.
Oh, boy.
And I'm sure you know every single one of these. I mean, some of these will be questions and some of these will be statements. But number one, what state became the first state to allow living wills? Do you know what state that might have been?
The first state to allow living
Back in September
wills.
1976.
76. I'm going
I'll give
to
you a
say-
hint if
Yeah.
you want one.
Okay.
It's a blue state.
California.
You got it. All right. Very good.
All right.
Number two, do you know what the shortest wills, what words contained in the shortest will of all time?
Huh. Well, I don't know if it'd be something we can say on a family show. But I'll tell you what my clients say when they don't want to leave anything to anybody. They say, "To this person I leave all my love and affection."
It's interesting because it says all to son or all to wife. I love it. Number three. So here's this is conversely, in the longest known will ever probated was 1,066 pages.
Oh, good Lord.
And it occupied 4 gilt-edged leather-bound volumes. An English woman, Frederica Cook, holds this record. So there are a number of famous Americans who died intestate. Do you know some of them, who they might be?
With no wills. Well, no. I bet it would be somebody like Andrew Jackson or let's see, Elizabeth Taylor, or someone that was a little on the crazy side. I don't know. What do you say?
So Sonny Bono,
Sonny Bono.
Kurt Cobain, John Denver, Chris Farley, Howard Hughes, Martin Luther King Jr., Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, and the list goes on and on and on. And these people should know better.
Michael Jackson, jeez.
These people should know better.
Seriously.
So let's see here. We already talked about estate plan. If you pass away without an estate plan, you give up control, like you said, over who inherits your property. So your state's intestacy laws kick in and dictate how your assets are divided up and passed on. Having an estate plan is the only way to ensure that your hand-carved assets go to whom you want and when you want. Number 6, if you're worried about your children having complete control over their inheritance, I know you've seen this many, many times.
Oh, yeah.
You can also leave their inheritance in a trust and appoint someone else to make decisions about how the money will be used. This can protect your kids from losing. You just talked about this a second ago.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This can protect your kids from losing their inheritance due to poor decision making, substance abuse problems, and other bad habits. We're just plain excessive spending. Tell us how you do that.
Oh, boy, yes. So that's exactly how you do that. We set up a trust, and then that trust says that whatever amounts that you want to have this child benefit from is held in an investment account for them, but they cannot take it. They may be able to take the income from those investments so they have some form of support, but they can't just break the cookie jar and take everything that they want. If they ever have a special emergency, well, of course we want to take care of that. But that money is held for them for the rest of their lives in many cases, and if and when they should pass, it can go to your grandchildren or other family members, and so that takes care of that next generation as well.
Yep, very good. Number 7, an estate plan that you give generously to charity. Do you want part of your estate to go to a favorite charity? Laws leave no room for charitable contributions. So the only way to be charitable in death is to create an estate plan. And if you have concerns about taxes, charitable estate planning can afford you tax breaks you otherwise wouldn't qualify for.
Very true. Very true. It's very common. Sometimes people give something as humble as $200, $500 to their church. Sometimes they give more than that. I've done $10,000 just a few weeks ago for hospice, but not for the hospice care, for the hospice care program that helps out the pets of people who are in hospice.
Yep.
Whatever little sparkle is in your heart to help people, you can do, but only if you set up a will or a trust. The state of Florida will not do that for you.
For sure. Number 8, you don't have to do it alone. We have it on our wall in our. As you walk into our office, we say, "Don't take the road alone for your insurance planning." Same thing with estate planning. It can be intimidating. It can also involve some complex rules and laws, creating pitfalls for the inexperienced. Because you alluded to that earlier about don't go to Staples or don't go online and do your own will. That is not the right way to do it. A qualified estate planning attorney can help you navigate the process and put in an effective plan.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. There are more services out there now than ever before, especially online, that say that they can do it for you. You can do it yourself. Well, hey, that may be. But do you want to risk it? That's the question.
That's right. You mentioned this earlier, one of the 4 main documents, a healthcare directive, or AKA a living will, is a legal document that spells out medical treatments that you would and would not want to be used to keep you alive, as well as your preferences for other medical decisions, such as pain management or organ donation. Very, very important to have a healthcare directive in place.
Very true, because this is a document that by its very nature comes into effect at a time when you need help. And the doctor's going to need help too. Your medical team's going to need help too, trying to understand the best way to take care of you. Well, it may be that a child or a spouse or a good friend already knows, but that can be a lot of pressure on them when they get that call at 5 o'clock in the morning to say, hey, we need a decision. What did Wes want? What did his heart desire when it comes to this? Well, if you've set forth your desires in a living will, nobody has to guess. It's a relief for the physicians. It's a relief for your family. And I hope it's a relief to you knowing that you've given everybody a very clear direction as to what to do in that grim time.
And know where these documents are when you need them.
That's right. That's right. Oftentimes, clients keep it in a bank vault. Sometimes they keep it at home. The majority of the time, they want us to hold the originals, which is just fine, and the family all knows that we've had it. There was a case some years ago where somebody buried it in a mason jar in their backyard.
Oh, my God. Did they forget where they buried it?
They did.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Number 10, a living trust is a legal arrangement established by an individual during their lifetime to protect their assets and direct their distribution after the grantor's death. And an estate planning tool that can help family members and beneficiaries avoid a lengthy, public, complex, and sometimes costly probate process.
That's exactly right. You know, sometimes I say to my clients, because again, every chance I get, I try to talk myself out of a job. I say, if your mom or dad worked their whole lives and then said to you in their final years, I want to make sure the lawyers take as much money as possible, then let's keep fighting. Because that's what's going to happen when there's conflict. But if they didn't say that, if they want that money to stay in the family, one of the best ways that we can do that is to set up a trust ahead of time. A trust can endure. A will pops up, does what it does, and then goes away. A trust can endure in some cases for 1 or 2 or even 3 generations. I did one a few months ago, setting up for 4 generations of time. And it doesn't have to be millions and millions of dollars. It can just be whatever's important to you. And to hold that money or property or a painting or whatever it may be for the family in an ongoing way. Mm-hmm. And it sets it up very clearly so that how it's to be used is set in stone. There's no questions, because questions lead to dispute, leads to lawyers.
And a lot of money.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Exactly. So, Wes, what would be your number one piece of advice for our listening audience out here this morning?
Talk to somebody. You can do it for free. You can do it with me. You can do it with anyone else that you trust. But it's better to go out and at least get a lay of the land. Compare that to what your desires are and what your family needs are, because everyone is different. Everyone has their preferences and needs. And the only way to know that is to go sit down with someone that you trust.
Yep. Very well said. And so the phone number, again, for somebody out there who's listening, and I know that the words that we spoke to you this morning has to hit some of you square in the face. And I mean hard. So if they need to get a hold of you, Wes, again, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Please give us a call at 772-828-2588 anytime.
All right, so we're going to transition. We only have about, 12 minutes, 13 minutes left of the show. I'm going to make my big announcement. Oh, before I do, one of my loyal, faithful listeners who watches on Facebook because she's from Ohio, is here visiting me from Ohio. My Aunt Pat, I don't know if she's tuning in this morning or not. I know my sister's taking her out, and we're going to have lunch here when we're done. But Aunt Pat, it's good to have you back in Florida. Good to see you again. And if you're listening, who's your number one nephew? All right, 8 glasses of water. This is a fun health fact. You know, I started a journey 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
In one day. But who's counting? I'm sorry, 2 days. So it's been 16 days. When I started going to Men's Warehouse and get bigger pants to wear, and it happened again, I'm like, okay, we have a problem.
Right.
So, not that COVID is an excuse, but, it hit a lot of us during that time. And so I went from about 185 pounds to 213 was my heaviest. So I decided that enough's enough, Wes. Enough's enough.
It's time.
Time. I got as much as it sucks to be on a diet. I have a great nutritionist. I have a great gal who comes to my house 3 days a week and kicks my butt. My personal trainer.
Oh, nice.
So from 213 down to 192. So I'm only 7 pounds away from where my goal is, 7 to 8 pounds away. So we're working to that goal. So I should have it in 30 days and not 6 weeks. So I'm excited about that part of it.
Nice.
But I'm still jonesing for some good food. You wake up hungry sometimes, but I'm on this diet from 11. I start eating at 11, not past 7.
Oh, yeah.
And
Intermittent fasting.
Intermittent fasting, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
2 meals a day, and I could pick whatever 2 meals I want, and comprises of 4 whole ounces of protein.
Oh, boy.
4 ounces of veggies, and 4 ounces of fruit. But I tell you, the results are here, and I feel better. My back pain has gone away, and some of the issues I've had are going away. I feel more energetic. And I need to. I'm running an agency. I've got 400 agents and 10 field managers and thousands of clients that we're working with. So I got to keep my energy up there. People are relying on me.
Got to.
My puppy, Leia, is relying on me for her dog walks when I get home at night.
That's right.
So I need that energy, Wes.
Uh-huh.
All right, so 8 glasses of water. Do you need 8 glasses of water every single day? So in 1945, the U.S. Food and Nutrition Board made it official about your water intake. The recommendation translated to roughly how many ounces do you think we're talking about with 8 glasses of water?
I'm going to say 64 ounces.
Bam! Can you read through my paper or something?
I'm just guessing.
64 ounces a day, and it referred to a person's total daily water intake, not just pure water, but also the amount taken in from foods and other beverages and fruits and so forth. Though it was widely misinterpreted to mean that everybody everywhere should drink 8-ounce glasses of plain water every day. There are many factors that affect water needs and hydration status, such as body size, climate, activity, metabolic rate, and so forth. So water needs may differ from one individual to another. What a 2% water deficit is enough to lower exercise performance. Get that. 1 to 2% of water deficit is enough to lower exercise performance, impair cognitive function, and worsen cardiovascular function. So, and also, it suggests that adults who are not sufficiently hydrated may age faster. That sucks.
Oh boy.
Face a higher risk of chronic diseases such as lung disease, diabetes, heart failure, and stroke, and be more likely to die younger than those who stay well hydrated. So, this is for me, maybe not for you, but for me, I need to drink more water, and so this hits me square in the face. I do need to drink more water, and when you do, I mean, our body is comprised of water. We got to drink it. We got to replenish. You got to hydrate.
Got to.
So, all right, my Lord, we got 9 minutes left. I want to share with some of you. I had a list of things I wanted to talk about today, but again, it's amazing how time flies by. I think most of you are aware of the 2023 Medicare changes, but the Medicare Parts A and B have changed. The Part B premiums have changed. The deductibles have changed. There's a lot of changes. Part D has changed in 2 years. I know right now, you hit the catastrophic phase, and you get into $6,000, $7,000 in a catastrophic phase beginning in 2025. The Part D out-of-pocket maximum is going to go down to $2,000, so it's going to help a lot of people who are on Part D drugs. And, we see it every day where, and listen, my own family members have issues with paying for Part D drugs. It's just reprehensible what's going on in the drug industry. And thank God for the new change, because I don't care what side of the fence you're on, whether it's red or blue. This should not be a political issue. It should be a Medicare issue and a human issue and a human nature. When you got people who are sacrificing, taking their drugs because they can't afford it, we got a problem in this country, Wes. So
big time.
I'm glad to see that there's some positive changes coming down the road. There are twice last week. I mean, it's just. I can't fathom. I don't understand it. I guess there's just not enough education and transparency out here in this world today. 2 clients came in needing help with their Medicare planning last week. So I asked to see their Medicare card. So obviously you cannot enroll in a Medicare plan unless you have your Medicare card. Well, the one was a female client and the other was a gentleman. And neither one of them knew that they had to sign up for Medicare. They didn't know what to do. So I was able to help them go on the SSA.gov website, help them enroll in Social Security. Yep, you got to go through the Social Security website to sign up for Medicare. And they wanted to sign up for Medicare without taking Social Security benefits, so you got to know where to navigate the website to do that. So we were able to help our clients, and then we can check because they're 2 weeks, 3 weeks away from turning 65, so they need their Medicare immediately. And it's taken Social Security 3 to 4 weeks to even wake up, for God's sakes. It's crazy what's going on at Social Security today. Sorry, SSA, but you guys got problems, and you need to wake up and answer your phone and take care of the clients, because there are so many you need. I mean, I've got 2 clients right now that we helped, and it's been a month. They still have not received their Medicare card. So what we'll do for you is we'll stay on top of it. We'll check the Mark system, and we will confirm if your Part B effective, if your Part B, A, and B has been effectuated, so we can help you with your Medicare and enroll you in the right Medicare plan. So again, if you don't know what to do, you don't know who to turn to, give us a call at Owen Insurance Group, 772-210-1020, 772-210-1020, and we'll help you. We'll give you some information. Again, and we just had a client call this morning from Deerfield Beach who is on a Medicare Advantage plan. He's been on it for 2 years, and he can't get the treatment that he wants. He needs help. He wants to switch to a supplement plan. And guess what? Unfortunately, we can't help him because now he has pre-existing conditions and cannot answer no to all of the health underwriting. People don't understand Medicare. They don't understand if you get on a certain plan when you turn 65, you may not be able to get on a supplement plan down the road. So you've got to know all your options. You've got to be educated. Wes, this is what you and I do. We're out here educating the public.
That's right.
And so there are a lot of nefarious actors out there who are doing it for their own reasons. They're doing it for money only. They don't talk to you about the options and to being transparent with you and letting you know that if you do A and B, you may not be able to do C, or vice versa. So again, we educate you 100% so that way you know all of your options. Not one person has ever left our office and not know the course of action that they should take. And know the pitfalls if you choose the wrong plan. And Wes, I always say this 100% of the time, every day I say to somebody, the decisions you make today can last a lifetime. It's important to get it right the first time.
Very true.
I mean, if you don't make the right decisions today when you're turning 65, you may not be able to change down the road. So seek out, whether it's us, Owen Insurance Group, or whoever it is, don't be afraid. When we do our Medicare presentations, unlike Wes, we're out there in the community, we're doing Medicare 101s. We do Medicare dinners. So if you want more information or you want to attend one of our Medicare 101 workshops, go to the website, oweninsurancegroup.com, and look at events. Click on the events tab, and then you can register for one of our upcoming events. We've got events happening all the way from Green Acres, West Palm Beach, Jupiter, Stewart, Port St. Lucie, Vieira, Palm Bay, Port St. Lucie. So wherever you are, go to the website, sign up. If you've got questions, again, just give us a call. You don't have to do business with us. If you need a resource, let Owen Insurance Group be your resource. Let us help. And sometimes it takes a third eye to take a look at something and to give you our opinion, and we're happy to do that. So again, Owen Insurance Group, 772-210-1020. We're located at 1611 Northwest Federal Highway, which is right behind Key West Diner. Have you ever been at Key West Diner?
I have.
Phenomenal place.
Very good.
So it's great just to walk. It's dangerous sometimes, but just to walk next door to have lunch. But if you've not been to Key West Diner, shout out to George, the owner over there, and his crew. They do a great job, so we appreciate the folks at Key West Diner. Wes, we got 30 seconds. Any final thoughts or words for our audience, my friend?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being on here. I'd be happy to be on again. I think what you do is very, very important, and I'm glad that you do this show. And I'm going to make sure that my clients know about it and keep listening.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. So my big announcement is beginning March, the first Tuesday in March, we are not going to be in studio. We're going to do live from our office a half-hour show. So stay tuned for that. It's going to still be fun and informative. So listen, my time is up. And I just want to say thank you for being with us today. Please share us with your friends, your family, your neighbors. And remember Treasure Coast. Stay safe, keep healthy, be happy, and enjoy your quality of life.